Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Elson Perry in Hong Kong and Linda in Taipei and, all the rest of our friends.
Carmen in San Francisco.
Carmen in San Francisco. Yay. Carmen, give me a reason to come to San Francisco. I used to live there. Okay. Of course, this is Mary Louise Zeller in Salt Lake City, Utah. Kayani Red Diamond. And Elsa asked me to talk about responsibility. So who would one be other than the responsible one? But first of all, I'm going to talk about responsibility. So a lot of people think that responsibility is a heavy burden. I'm responsible for it all. That is perspective. Is there work involved with responsibility? Generally. But there's also growth and privilege. I say that when one is being responsible, it is a great privilege. You can only, I'm going to give you a saying, I want you to remember it forever. You can only have to the level for which you're willing to be responsible. So you can only have in life that which you're willing to take full responsibility for. So I see it like to whom much is given, much is required. And I consider it to be a great privilege. All growth, all making a difference, all power in life and having is tied to responsibility. I pray for responsibility. I pray for God to work through me to make a difference in life. And I pray to be blessed and guided and to make a difference. So, like I said, a lot of people view responsibility as a heavy burden. And I invite you to merely choose to change perspective. I see responsibility as taking ownership. I'd like to invite all of you to declare yourself the president of your own company. So that's who I am. I have Zeller Global Networks, and I am the president. If I make money, it's up to me. If I make a difference, it's up to me. You could view that as a burden. I view it as a sacred privilege. So that's just a shift of perspective, and that's a choice. Now, people are sometimes willing to take responsibility in a very small way, like you go to your job every day and they give you the responsibility of several tasks, and you're willing to be responsible for those tasks and you get paid for that, and that becomes quite comfortable. But all growth lives in the domain of taking more responsibility. You would maybe take responsibility for really your part in a new project, and people would be so impressed. They would go, wow, your work has been outstanding on this project. We're going to make you head of the department. And a lot of people would just run from that opportunity, or even if you get into the opportunity and accept it, you view it like a heavy load. And I'm just saying it's the domain of the greatest adventures in life and the greatest amount of having. If you have a beautiful new car, what comes along with having that is taking responsibility for its maintenance, its care, keeping it clean. And I say, and it's something, I'm 72 years old and probably older than all of you on this call. I'm really old. But one of the things that's given me power in life is being responsible for not only care and maintenance, but creating something better than when I first got it. If I get a home, I will not only keep it clean and maintain and organize it, but I will immerse myself into it. So now that's another fundamental aspect of responsibility, is immersing yourself into a project. It becomes who you are. Kayani, I have often said, is not just what I do, but who I am now. It has become part of me and me part of it, so that the boundaries are blurred. It becomes who I am. I have immersed myself in it. I've taken ownership. I've taken ownership to empower people. God has given me the sacred privilege to make a difference. And we are changing lives in Kayani. I am so immersed in that belief. I mean, it is who I am, that I know Kayani is about new hope in the world. It's about elevating the quality of life for people, the quality of health and the quality of their financial health, and giving them a vehicle with which to make a difference. So, you know, back to the analogy of being responsible for my home. I'm going to clean, organize, design. In the design, I'm going to create into the space. I call it COD. You know, it delivers, get it? It delivers whole new worlds of power to people to be responsible for what they have, like a creation rather than a burden. To create, you must immerse yourself. Does it take courage? Yes, it does. But if you put your own self-creation, and will you make mistakes, and will you lose some money, and will you, all of that, you will. But all growth in life depends on it. So responsibility is a world of power. And another aspect of responsibility is that it's an on-the-court phenomenon. So what do I mean by that? You can either be in the stands in life watching the game, or you can be in the game. To grow, to become a champion, you got to be on the court. You got to be on the mat. You got to be in the game. And when I first started Taekwondo, becoming a black belt, I immersed myself in learning the basics. They say when you get your black belt, you now know the basics of Taekwondo or karate or whatever, kung fu. You know the basics well enough to then begin your study of the martial arts. So I noticed something. As I immersed myself in learning, hours a day I would spend practicing what I had learned. I discovered something over the years in doing that. And after I got my black belt, I went on to 6 degrees of black belt, and there are 2 years in between first and second, and 3 in between second and third, and so on, and up to 6 degrees. So one thing about having a 6-degree black belt is you're really old, because it takes a long time. And it is growing in that responsibility. Then I took responsibility for teaching others. I remember the first time I taught, it was terrifying. I thought people would be judging me. And it's like when you step to the foreground, which is what taking responsibility looks like, you're subject for criticism or whatever, or failure or whatever. So does it take courage? Yes. But like I said, all the goodies live there too. So it's just integral to success in life is to be responsible. You know, Gandhi said, be the change that you're looking to see. Gandhi got thrown off a train in India, a well-educated man, and they were like, you know, you're dirt. You're not to be sitting here with the white people. Like, you know, what a arrogant misconception. But Gandhi said, I'm going to change that. He took responsibility for making a difference. So the privilege of responsibility is you get to go back in and bring who you are to something, which is totally unique and your sacred gift of life. So that's what responsibility means to me. Taekwondo changed me as I learned it. And at some point in teaching and giving back and immersing myself in the opportunity to help others grow through Taekwondo, I began contributing back to the art. So the art evolved me. It changed me. And then I brought who I was back to the art and evolved the art. I brought my special, unique gift back to the martial art that I was studying and engaged in, and I changed it. And it becomes an upward spiral. I put myself to the next level, and it changed me, and then I took that on, and I changed others, and I changed the art. And you know what? It's not the right way to live, but it really is a great one to live. And that's where greatness and power in life live. So if you're staying safe, if you're not challenged in life, it's okay. You will live your life, and one day you will pass from this life. And, you know, you might get to the other side and go, what was I thinking? You know, that you stayed safe all your life. Or you can immerse yourself in making a difference. So let's go through this PowerPoint really quickly. I was looking to see, well, let's see if I can change it. Okay, so the power of one. If you take responsibility for immersing yourself in some project, let's call our project Kayani. So we're looking not just to have, but the way we're going to have is to take full responsibility or ownership to make a difference in the quality of life. I say that's far more powerful than merely selling things and trying to earn more money. Now, will you sell things in this game? Yes. Will you earn more money? Yes. But if you're engaged in making a difference, the power of what you do and the amount of money you make will boggle your mind. It will be beyond your present imagination, because in the process of you taking ownership to make a difference, and all it is a choice. You go, I'm the one, I'm going to make a difference in the quality of life. Kayani's products change lives. They make your health better. Kayani business is an honest, stable business that's going to be around for generations, and people have an open-ended opportunity that is not based on just the special few who got in first. It is based on anybody who goes after it and immerses themselves into this opportunity enough to learn their game, grow in their game, practice their game, and become a champion and teach others. So I'm taking that on. And that's a declaration, by the way. It all occurs in speaking, and declarative speaking has a power that is so far beyond descriptive speaking, somebody standing on the sidelines reporting on the game. No, declaration is, I'm going to win this game. Now, you may or may not win the game that day, but if you declare you're going to win, you're going to play in such a way that winning is not luck. And that even if you didn't, you will have grown in the process by owning responsibility for how the game's going to turn out. And that's what responsibility means to me. So, you know, what can one person do? Well, we talked about Gandhi. Did he change the world in India? Absolutely. And he did it peacefully. He didn't do it with a war. He's still one of the most unique human beings in the entire history of the human race because of what he did without violence. We could go back and learn from Gandhi and change the world over and over and over and over again. And you know, that I'm surprised why more people don't. But look at Mother Teresa. There's a story about Mother Teresa going to Albania in the middle of a war, and you know, these people were firing at each other, and there was an orphanage out in the middle of where they were shooting guns and cannons and whatever they had, and she marched into the middle of it And she told both sides, stop the war. And I need to get the children out. And they were like so shocked by this little bitty tiny old woman who had walked in the middle of their war at threat of her risk of her own life. And it was stunning for them, and they stopped the war. But that's somebody who took responsibility. Those children are not going to be collateral damage in this stupid war. I'm going to get the children out. Now there's responsibility for making a difference, and we all know what difference she made. So you want to look and maybe even read about Mother Teresa's life story and learn to see, she took responsibility for making a difference in the quality of life for the poorest of the poor. Now, I have chosen to be at the other apex, the leading edge. I'm going to be out front leading what is possible for the human race. She was bringing up the lowest of the low, the poorest of the poor. I'm going to be out in front. I'm going to be the one who shows people that you can have anything that you're willing to do the work to achieve and to be willing to make a difference with your work. So I think the element of responsibility that is the privilege is being used by God, by the higher purpose in life, whatever you want to call it, to elevate the quality of life, to give new hope, to give new possible futures to people. That's what we can do with Kayani, is give a new possible future to people. Then it's our responsibility to mentor them to realize that new hope and dream and possibility for their future. So what are the three foundations of being the force of one? You are going to make a difference in life. Number one is integrity. We talked a little bit about that last week. And integrity means being whole. Like if you had a bicycle and one of the wheels was missing 3 spokes, it might work for a while, but eventually it would cave in because it was missing part of the hull. And we can look at ourselves like that. Honoring your word as who you are, because it is. Like I said, it's like in the beginning was the word was with God, the word was God, and the word created heaven and earth. And that's we're made in God's image, and that's our divine genetic link to our divine parentage, that we have the power of our word. So we have to keep our word. If we don't, clean up the mess. If you made a promise and didn't do it, clean it up, and then you're whole, perfect, and complete again. Another thing is sometimes people are just expecting something of you, and it's kind of in the background, or you expect something of you. Really find out what's expected of you and either do it or say that you won't. And that's integrity. It's whole, it's perfect, it's complete. But a lot of people leave things unsaid. There's expectation in the background and nobody's speaking it and being conscious about it. So you want to learn to be conscious about what you say or what people expect of you. And then, if you go around telling something to people, make sure that what you say, because it comes with a certain responsibility. Like if I say something, if I have a background in science, I need to go in and research what it is that I say to people. I can't just go out and say whatever irresponsibly. So that's all part of integrity and honoring your word as yourself, so that you have the power to create and cause things to happen just simply because you say it will. And, so without it, my husband used to tell me, without integrity, nothing works. It won't last. It might work for a while. You might get away with it. We've watched that. But eventually it will come down, because it is not that which lasts. What lasts is truth, honor, integrity. That lasts. That changes the world. Gandhi was true to himself. That's the ultimate sense of integrity, by the way. The first rung on the ladder of integrity is being honest. but the higher levels are concerned with you being true to yourself. To do that, you've got to get in and identify, what it is you expect of yourself in life. Who are you? What is your gift to life? And it's not like written in stone somewhere. It literally is a creation of yours. So look to see what is consistent with who you consider yourself to be. And I'm going to close out these microphones that are open because I'm getting an echo back, which we do not want to have. Very good. So, engage in integrity. You might want to make an integrity checklist. Where have you said you will do something and you haven't done it? Clean it up. Where did somebody say that they would do something and they didn't do it? Clean that up with them. That's part of your integrity too, letting people get away with saying things to you that they will do something and then they don't do it. Or where do you owe something? Or integrity. Maybe there's a project in your house that every time you walk by it, you go, oh my gosh, I need to fix that. Put it on a list and go after it. Go after that list. Work from your list. It's the same thing with being responsible for your business. They say first make a list of 20 people that you would like to be your business partners, and then begin to talk with them with your upline, who of course has more experience than you do, and be responsible for moving your own business forward. So authenticity. This is integrity also, by the way. Being true to yourself. So you want to be authentic. And look where you're not. Maybe it's see yourself more as looking good. Somebody who's very concerned with what people think of them are not going to be at the leading edge of life. But you know what? All the extraordinary accomplishment, that which changes life for everybody, is going to have risk. You will put yourself up for ridicule and criticism. It's just that's not what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about answering to my mission with God. That's the only one I'm concerned with. And he's not worried about how I'm looking. So I'm looking to see, who am I? Who am I? One of the things with my husband passing away, my sister asked me, did I ever see myself marrying again? I looked at her like she had 3 heads. And I said, here's what I'm up to at this stage of my life. I'm up to discovering who am I without the responsibility of taking care of everyone. I have been the mom, been the wife. I have been there, done that, got my t-shirt. And not to say, that's not a good thing. I loved it. But I'm up to discovering who I am, immersing myself in the experience of life, the experience of people, cultures all over the world. So expect to see me in your neighborhood, because I want to know you. I want to make a difference with you. I want you to make a difference with me. I want to immerse myself in the possibility of life and the privilege of what God has given me in Kayani. I want to make a difference all over the world. This is a vehicle that works. I am so thankful for it. There's not a day I don't get up in the morning and say I'm so thankful for the opportunity. So authenticity, being yourself, looking to see, and like I say, that's often a choice. So it's not like you're going to discover who you really are. No, you're going to create who you really are. You're going to take responsibility to create who you really are. So the other fundamental element in you being a force of one, of which responsibility, of course, is synonymous, is choose to be up to something bigger than your own life. Like I say, being a wife, being a mother, that's a great privilege. It changed me. I was an on-the-court game. I was in the game of doing that. And, I was growing. I was being trained to do, to serve my mission in life. And I've been blessed But all along the line was choosing to be bigger than just the game. It was like letting the game come in and stimulate and change me to bring who I was back to the game. I know I have given, if I died tomorrow, I have given who I am to those in my life, and that I would have changed them and made a difference. My children will remember me not just as somebody who cleaned the house and cooked the food and washed the clothes, or just somebody loving, but somebody who was out there making a difference in life and leading and changing the game. One time my older son told me I was like feeling guilty for being gone too much, and he goes, "Mom, would you stop that already?" He said, "Look, I go to my friends' houses and their moms are not doing what you're doing. And I come home and I see you," and he says, "to tell you the truth, you know, the house is always clean. We always have food in the refrigerator." And he says, "What you've given me is showing me what I can do with my life." He says, "That's really a pretty great thing you're doing for me." It's like, oh, wow. Did I give up my self-flagellation in a minute? You know, so I've always been up to something bigger. And by the way, Elsa, that was when I was taking on leadership programs in Landmark, and I'd be working all day. And then sometimes I would, you know, drive 2 hours to do training to be a leader in that organization, because I saw that it made a difference. And then I was worrying that I wasn't giving enough to my family. And they were like, "No, go, Mom, you know, go do it. This is great." So you want to see what touches your passion, because you are unique, and where you're going to choose to make a difference will come from your passions in life. So if I look back at my training in Landmark, I led seminars for them and did all the work, by the way. You can't even imagine the work I did to be trained to lead seminars. But that's one of the reasons why, as I lead around the world, you know, people relate to me, because I relate to people. I learned all of that in that era of my life. And that was why I was a successful teacher in Taekwondo. And, you know, the Landmark Forum made a huge, fundamental, pivotal difference in my life. And it started opening up my authenticity. It showed me who I was, and I got connected to my passion and committed to making a difference. I didn't know I was a person who could make a difference. I thought I should just get an education, make a living, find someone that I really loved and get married and have children. And that's all great, and I'm so thankful for it. But I never knew I thought I could make a difference to my family. I got that. But I didn't get, I could be like Gandhi. I could make a difference. So I pray to God every day that he uses me to elevate the quality of life in the world. And that's what Kayani is consistent for me, is that we elevate the quality of life in the world. So this is so far beyond the personal, direct personal payoffs. That's going to show up, especially in Kayani, by the way. I mean, I made a difference in Taekwondo, but I spent a lot of money. And I make a difference in Kayani, and the money's coming this way. And it really enables me to be more generous in life, and to give to charities, to people, to help the St. Teresa's in the world, to bring up the bottom level of life where people are just struggling to stay alive. You know, so Kayani has given me both ends of the spectrum in order to make a difference. So, by the way, being a power of one does not mean you're alone. So, first of all, it shows up in making a difference with others, but also you will be greater through others. So they're bringing their unique difference to the game. And so don't get what we say in Atlanta, Georgia, the big head. You know, so don't get depressed with yourself in the midst of all of this. If you're successful, you're going to receive a lot of recognition, and bask in it, enjoy it, and then go right back to work. So, you know, it is all team, and if you're fully engaged, you're going to be great. And it is the game that's going to change you. You immersing yourself in the game comes back and changes you. You contribute who you are to the game, and it's an upward spiral that everything is greater. So in order to make a difference, you've got to be willing to engage in creating new futures. Now you might say, well, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how to, whatever. You're not going to invent the polio vaccine. But that's an example of somebody immersing themselves in making a difference and having the persistence to engage themselves totally over time to create a new future for humanity. You have that in you. It is not a genetic trait. Power is immersion in the game. Discover your passion, and immerse yourself in learning your game and be committed to the game, and your greatness shows up on the mat in the game. So you want to just take action consistent. Now, should you write, pardon me, should you start to write, what am I committed to? What am I passionate about? How can Kayani use who I am and what I'm committed to for me to realize making a difference in life? And then you want to take action consistent with those commitments to realize the future you envision. And you want to do that ongoingly over time. That's consistency. I was too old when I started Taekwondo. I have the wrong body type. I have short legs. That's like a boxer having short arms. And I engaged in it like I'm talking to you about it. I engaged in Taekwondo not just to win a competition or to win a title. I engaged in it to make a difference. It transformed me, and I immersed myself in it to a level that I went back and contribute uniquely who I was to the art. And we both evolved into a new possible future. But that took everyday practice, taking risks, flying to Korea many times, training at the National Academy of Taekwondo in Seoul, Korea, being the oldest person to do that, and especially being an older woman doing all of that. There was certain risk and a level of commitment that was uncommon to me. But that's what I'm talking about. Fully immerse yourself in the possibility of your game. Right now, my game is Kayani. And boy, I love a game you can win. And this one you can win big. So, if you want to make a difference, first of all, invent, like the inventiveness, the divine inventiveness that invented the world in which we live. Invent that you can. And then take 100% responsibility for realizing that. You're going to have up days. You're going to have down days. You're going to have days you make a difference, days that you fail. It's all included. It becomes making you, refining the carbon into diamond. It's only with pressure. So if you can see what's missing, don't be the complaint. You're the perfect person to provide what's missing if you can see that it's missing. So in your game, one of the pitfalls is becoming a complainer because you're committed to something higher and bigger. You've got to take it there, but other people are pulling it down. If you can see what is missing, you're the perfect person to provide it. Take responsibility for providing it, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes. And another pitfall is making others wrong. You cannot make a difference in that arena. If you find yourself complaining and making others wrong, making the company wrong, making the corporate office wrong, you cannot make a difference. You will be sitting on the sidelines complaining. There is no, in the game, sitting on the sidelines complaining. So if you're complaining, you're not in the game. That is a pitfall. So we have the ability to cause and create new realities in our speaking. So stand up, take a stand to make a difference. Ask God, okay, Lord, I'm here. I'm available. I'm going to be your soldier. I will make a difference. Show me how. Bring the people into my life and give me the possibility and opportunity to make a difference in the quality of life. I'm the one. It's a creation, and it's who you are. It always has been. We've just been unaware of that, and we get life by default. We let others tell us who we are. Oh, are you kidding me? You think you can, be a leader in this, that, or the other? Who are you? It's always been available to you. You've always had it as part of your divine genetics. And yet we give our word to agreement of others telling us we're small. I say, to make a difference, you have to first take up responsibility for generating that you're the one, and you give up the small game, because you're just giving your creation to playing it small. You're not the one. So being responsible to have, you got to take responsibility to generate and create and give all that you are to the game. So having learned these things, I can take this to any game. Okay? I can take it to any game in life. People say to me, this, you just, anything you touch, you just go in and win with it. This is the source of it for me. So I'm going to open up the microphones. Oops, I need to unmute all. Okay, so keep your microphone muted unless you want to talk. And if you have a question or you want to share something, open up your microphone and go for it. Who would like to go first? Did you all go to sleep? Did I put you to sleep?
No. I'm worried about looking good. Okay.
Okay, so you're worried about looking good. Hey, listen, do we have a responsibility? Make it a game, Elsa. Make it your
Okay.
looking good game. But it's not serious, you see. We don't need looking good for survival, right? Survival,
No.
ego maybe. I'd say take it out of the ego game and take responsibility for playing the success game. But keep in mind it's a game, is what I would say. Do I like to go out shopping and get my nails done and get my hair done and be the best I can be and generate and create looking good? Yes. Dress for success, that people write books about it. Is it part of our human life? Yes. But it's not who you are. It's a game. So if you keep it in the game domain, have a ball playing it. You can play around. Perry, do I look good tonight? Did I win my looking good game tonight? You want to look like a leader. Nothing at all wrong with it. So I would say shift your perspective to not having it be connected to your value. See, who you are is inherently valuable. Nothing can touch that. Dressing as a leader, dressing for success, having your home, people walk into my home, they're changed. That's what I'm after. I'm after the highest and best in life. Kayani for me is access to the best of life. But it's not tied up with who I know myself to be. I could live in a dirt hut, and you know what? I'm going to make that the best dirt hut ever because I'm committed to the best. So as long as you don't mix it up with who you think you are, playing the looking good game is just a great game. Can that lighten the load for you about looking good, Elsa?
Yes, yes, and then what you have just said also led to another question that I have is how do we create games? I mean, can I make, like, for example, if I want to create a game with, like, next time when Mike Akagi comes, I want to create a game of let's say I want to the name of the game is 100 people for this meeting, okay? So let's say I want to create a game like this. How do I play it without being too heavy and significant?
Great. First of all, you create a game of 100 people event. Now let's look down the road. Here's the night of the event and 15 people show up. Okay, now let's look at the day after the event. Did you survive? Sure you survived, right? You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. Your survival doesn't depend on it. So let's take the significance out of the accomplishment. If you look
Okay.
at your commitment like the opportunity to make a difference, you're going to have a certain passion about it. And I'm going to give you something. This is so great. My husband, he made all of this up. You know, he was a landmark forum leader, but he was inventing a course he called the Phoenix event. You know, like rise from the ashes and invent the new possibility of you. And he had a conversation in there. He said, all of the conversations in the world, well, any great accomplishment begins with a conversation. And he said, but people create sticky conversations. So you personally, Elsa, you would be working night and day, night and day, night and day from now until the event if it depended only on you to get 100 people there, and you would have to invite 500 to make sure 100 show up. So you would do nothing but invite people and keep a list and be on the phone 10, 12 hours a day for you personally to get 100 people there. So what can you do to actually have 100 people there? The next day you're going to survive just the same, but you're going to be a lot happier person when you had 100 people there. So you've got to create a sticky conversation. And what does that mean? It's a conversation that other people pick up. It sticks to them. It becomes their conversation. It becomes their creation. So again, you can't get too significant. Oh, my ego is tied up in it. Mike is going to think badly of me. Listen, I'm going to love you whether you do it or not, Elsa. I like who you are, Elsa. I like Perry. You guys are my people. That doesn't change if we win a game or lose a game, because the long game is different. We're warriors for life. We're the tribe. We're the same tribe. And you're my people. So it's not an ego thing. You can't get your ego tied up in your accomplishments or you've lost your game. If I'm playing Taekwondo, if I'm not playing the game, if I lose my focus and concentration and it becomes about, oh, what will my coach think of me if I don't win this game? I have lost because I'm not in the game. So to get that big accomplishment, you've got to be playing the game big. To play the game big, you need a lot of partners. To have a lot of partners, you've got to enroll them in a conversation of making a difference. See, I'm just speaking. Hopefully, I'm creating new worlds of possibility for you guys to be great, to bring who you are, to take responsibility for making a difference in your own world. So if I'm successful today, this conversation will stick to you. It'll become who you are. You're going to go out and stick it on others. I thought it was so cute. My husband calling that a sticky conversation. Now, you can have Gandhi, the example, how he created a sticky conversation. We are going to be free. We are going to be the directors of our own country. We're not going to be a territory of Great Britain and under their rule and under their domination and rule. We're going to be free to determine our own futures. And he enrolled a lot of people in that conversation. And he said, we're going to do it peacefully. And he enrolled them in that conversation. There were people who would have taken out guns and gone to war against the British, and he didn't want to do that. And he enrolled them in his conversation of, we're going to do this peacefully no matter what, no matter how long. So he created a sticky conversation, but guess what? So did Hitler. Hitler created a sticky conversation. And that's just enrolling others, but make sure you're enrolling others and Kayani for me is a great game. It is new hope for the future for many people around the world. I know a young woman in the Philippines who, you guys don't know her, but she was being a prostitute. And you know what? You cannot fault her for that. She had no education, and her family was starving, and she was pretty. So she went to work every day from the age of 14 on and supported her family with what she made in prostitution. She's now a very successful distributor in Kayani, and she's not doing prostitution anymore. And she's getting an education. We're changing lives. I've seen it all over the world. So how do you be successful? And you go ahead and listen, I would say let's have 250 people. And then you create a sticky conversation and you enroll people, and we're out here making a difference. We've got a great company that is like the iPad made an evolutionary leap. It wasn't just an advancement in technology, it was an evolutionary leap. And we've got a company like that. Now, what did I just do? I just had a conversation with you. Hopefully it's a sticky conversation. So for something to be sticky, you've got to create possibility in it. We're the team, the core team, bringing Kayani to our city, our country, in order to elevate the quality of life in the world. This is not just sell things and make a commission. So you're creating a sticky conversation with people. Sticky conversations have to open up a new possible future for people. That's what enrollment is. It's not registering somebody in as a distributor. You've created a new possible future for them. And they're enrolled in that. So that's what I mean by sticky conversation. So I would take the significance out of it, take the ego out of it, because it has nothing to do with your success or failure as a human being. Now, business effectiveness, you can be committed to business effectiveness without having your ego involved. As soon as your ego gets involved, and we all have it, so we have to be alert and aware that if our ego is, the one driving it. Can you get success with an ego driving it? Of course you can. Look at Donald Trump. Sorry. But I would just say be committed to making a difference, create a sticky conversation, enroll a lot of partners in creating the same future with you, and you will be successful.
Yes, I agree with that.
Good.
Elsa, I have a comment about your former question. I think it's human nature to try to appear as more than we are. And I think that it's important to know that who you are is enough. People can see through anything that's fake. But if you're genuine, even if you're flawed and genuine, you come across, as believable to people. And so, wouldn't you agree with that, Mary Louise, that, it's important?
What you're saying
You,
is true, Larry, but it's like in Ecuador, you can go stand with a foot in each hemisphere. You're standing on the equator. And I would say you stand with a foot in each world, that you be responsible for looking as a leader, as a creation, rather than an egotistical
right.
drive.
I
But at
think
the
what you're
same time, authenticity shines through anything. But if you're authentically putting on who I am as a leader and I'm about the best of life, that doesn't mean ostentatious either. So that ostentatious is the ego. So I would say what I'm talking about is authenticity, and that there's a certain responsibility to represent yourself as successful. And what Larry's saying is also true. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Larry, because it is true also that you could dress yourself up to be, you look like a leader, but without authenticity, it won't make a difference. So you
you can
can
be
have a foot in each world.
yeah you can become a better version of you, but
Exactly.
who you are is really enough. You just need to work on who you are.
It's the same thing as knowing that, you could call all of life a game, and we're immersed in the game. Some people are sitting on the sidelines, or they're, pretending there isn't a game. They're like drinking themselves into uh, uh, unfeeling, unknowing, whatever. But I'd say where life is being in the game, and you get to choose um, how you want to play the game, what game you're going to invent. So I'm involved in this game of Kayani. Why? Because it's giving me more experience. I really like, we have a tagline called Experience More, because
Yes.
that's what I'm up to. I'm up to experiencing life and making a difference. I want to
Yeah.
experience life, and I want to experience the best of life. I think all of us have experienced hardships of life. I also want the experience of the best of life. And that's,
Yes.
for me, Kayani is access to the best of life. So it's a
Yeah.
game, and I'm going to play it. And I'm going to be responsible for learning the game, and I'm going to be responsible for playing the game consistently. I can't tell you how many games I lost. All of you have heard this. What was it? Lincoln ran for public office like 100 times before he became president of the United States. He lost. He lost. I lost every match I fought for 3 years. I just didn't stop playing. So win or lose, if you're in the game, giving it your all. Make sure you're giving it your all, because half-hearted playing of a game doesn't do anybody any good.
No, no, I
Give
agree with that.
all of what you are, immerse yourself in the game, choose the game, and help others to see if this game is for them. There are many games in life,
Mm.
and this is not the right game. I just like it a lot. I like the physical vitality I get from being on these products. I am so sure that our nitro effects and sunset are opening up my circulation and keeping me healthy. At 72 years old, I have more energy than anybody has a right to. And sleep and emotional health and my biochemical profile, my lipid profile are all perfect. That's totally abnormal. Most people in America, at least, by the time they're my age, they're on 15 different medications and they're still sick.
Mm.
So I know our products are making a difference, and so I love giving people wellness, because one thing is, if I look to see who I am, I'm really about people playing the game hard. I've been playing hard since I was a little girl. Everything I did with passion. And, you can't have passion if you're sick. It saps your passion. So for me, Kayani is consistent with my love of life. It gives us more life. Okay, any other questions? It's now 9 o'clock. Well, late your time. I don't know what time it is there, but it's 9 o'clock in the morning for us. We've been at this an hour. Do you have more resource to explain there is no side effect on the products? Huh. Well, let's see. Well, I have experience, resources. Go to Kayani Science. Let me ask that question. I'm like working with Dr. Claire Francomano every week. I'll make a note about your question. Resources. Okay, I'm going to answer that question next week, okay? That there are no side effects. Just look at your experience. You know, all experiences benefit, not side effects. But I'll find that out. She will know. Dr. Claire Francomano knows all in science.
Mm. Mary Louise, I do have a question since you're talking about Dr. Francomano.
Yeah.
What do you think about the science, our science team, our team of scientists?
Huh.
I mean, some other companies, like the big ones, like New Skin, they have really a lot of them in the company. And I mean, if people ask you a question like the one I have just raised, what do you usually say to them?
First of all, I've never heard the question, so I have to think about it. If I look at Dr. Claire Francomano, she's like who's who of American medical doctors. She's earned like 38 pages on the internet. She has published, she has worked, she has researched. And even I know personally that when Dan Swindell invited her into the company as a distributor, by the way, she researched the science on our products for 3 or 4 months until she came to the conclusion that our nitric oxide precursor product was an evolutionary step in nitric oxide precursors and way beyond the first generation of nitric oxide precursors of the L-arginine. She knew that L-arginine raised nitric oxide levels, but she also knew that there were a lot of side effects, as potentially dangerous ones in stimulating herpes virus. And she saw that our plant nitrite-nitrate pathway had none of those side effects and really elevated the levels of nitric oxide much more. So she's, I have a tremendous amount of respect for her. Dr. Abbas Kutab, he's an amazing man. See, our science team are not just paid team. You can go out and hire any medical doctor. Whether or not they had anything to do with the formulation of your products or not, you can hire them, and they are for hire. So I would have to look into that with other companies, who they have. I have a great deal of respect and regard for our products because they make more difference. New Skin sponsored me for 2 years when I was in the height of my competition. They gave me $2,000 a month of all of their products. I used the Pharmanex supplements. I took them by the handful every day. I used all of their skincare products. As far as I could tell, nothing ever gave me a higher performance. I could not measure it. I can measure it with our nitric oxide precursor product. I can literally still to this day go out and get more repetitions with the same weight using the nitric oxide. I can have more endurance and speed and everything using our products. I could not do that with any other supplement I've taken over the last 45 years. So
Okay.
I don't really, I guess what I say to them is I don't look for Dr. Oz, some big name.
But ours are big names, right? And then,
Well,
no,
Dr. Claire
since you,
Romano is a big name in the medical world. She's not a big name in
yeah,
the public world.
okay.
She's not
And
Louis Ignaro, but I would dare say she's as good a researcher or maybe better, but she's not in that public sense. But in the medical world, she is. She's a very big name.
and she was willing to be our distributors in order to be able to
She
use
was,
the products
I
with the
was,
patients too, right?
yeah, I was a distributor the day she enrolled. You know,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
her
no, no,
husband is
you have,
still a distributor, and she is committed to building a business. It's kind of interesting. She's got 2 kids in medical school, and she needs the money. They don't pay researchers what they ought to, and she wants to someday retire.
yeah,
And so she wants to build a business in Kayani to be able to retire, not just make a living.
okay. And come to think of it, when you mentioned that other scientists, they are for hire, I remember my friend in New Skin. Now that you mentioned, I do remember she used to work for New Skin Corporate, and she said that the scientists inside New Skin told her that, hey, you know what, Joyce, you can get the same fish oil from Costco for cheaper. It's the same stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And where
I mean, they don't really, they are for hire. They don't really
our
see,
scientists are
yeah.
formulators, and they know our products are not the same stuff. They know that they're innovative and leading edge and really make a huge difference, much more than the regular stuff. So they're the formulators. I like that we have formulating doctors. All of them are involved in formulation now. The evolution of our products and the reformulation, all of them participated in that. And Dr. Burke, he's a very respected PhD and teaches in medical schools, and he's very involved in science and research. So, I have a great deal of respect for our doctors. There are good doctors all over the world, and I like that. I like what our doctors have produced.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I'm glad I asked the question, Mary Louise. I mean, it has been in the back of my mind, but now yeah, thank you for helping me to have clarity. Thank you.
Now that I
Linda,
have to.
Linda just asked a question about why other companies are all using L-arginine as the source of nitric oxide. First of all, because it's available, it's public domain, and ours is not. This is a proprietary formulation, so they cannot copy it. Is it out there for them to use? Yes. I think most people flock to status quo. I can also ask that question of, I'm going to ask that question to Dr. Claire. I talk to her every Monday night, so we speak Tuesday morning, so I'll have these answers. Okay, so I'm going to ask her that too, Linda. Okay, go, Larry.
Okay, thank you.
Mary Louise and Elsa, I have to go to a quick doctor's appointment, but thank you so much for your time every day. I really appreciate your enthusiasm. And now the challenge is to take this information and make it practical and apply it in your life so it becomes powerful in building your teams. And we're just so excited for what's going on over there with this group. We're very impressed. Thank you for that.
Larry, watch. The next few months are going to be exciting, very exciting.
I believe it. I believe it. You've got some very good leaders. I hope that all of you will rally around each other and follow your leaders there. And what we hope that we can help as a resource.
Yeah, I mean, it's very helpful. Said you guys have helped us at least put in a structure here, and I see that. I mean, from this meeting, I see the leaders who have been coming to this meeting are committed